Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, Sri D.K. Shivakumar ji, Sri M.B. Patil, Minister of Large and Medium Industries, Government of Karnataka, Sri Yash Darshanapur, Minister of Small Scale Industry and Public Enterprises, Government of Karnataka, all honorable dignitaries, officers from Government of Karnataka, Government of India, CEOs, CMDs of Indian and foreign industries, young entrepreneurs, business leaders, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. When I came to Bengaluru on Saturday, I came to know about Siddharamaiah ji, the Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka, about his injury. It is good to see him here, and it indicates he is fast recovering from the injury. In politics, keeping your legs safe is very important. In politics, keeping your legs safe is very important. And you have to be very mindful because you will stumbling blocks everywhere. Siddharamaiah ji is a seasoned politician and he has been safely crossing all hurdles on his way. And today he is the Chief Minister of Karnataka, and I'm very confident that he will recover quickly from this injury. I wish him speedy recovery. My friends, first and foremost, I express my deepest reverence to the sacred land of Karnataka. This land has been raised by the wisdom and legacy of the great saint poets like Sant Baswanna, Alma Prabhu, Akka Mahadevi, Purandara Das, and Kanak Das. It is always a profound honor and privilege for me to be here. The visionary and dynamic Chief Minister of Karnataka, Sri Siddharamaiah ji, has graciously invited me to this event. We belong to different political parties and we are political opponents. His magnanimous gesture eloquently declares his statesmanship, which rises above limited considerations to work together in the spirit of fraternal ties which bind all of us. His invitation and my acceptance show that in the pursuit of the national interest, we stand united, unmindful of the political differences. Friends, I have always shared a special bond with Karnataka. This land has continuously blessed me with immense love and affection. Karnataka is the unique confluence of the divine grace of the goddess Saraswati and the goddess Lakshmi. Karnataka has the perfect blend of knowledge and prosperity. The people of Karnataka are blessed not only by goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of wisdom, but also by goddess Lakshmi, the embodiment of wealth and prosperity. Friends, according to the classical political science, be it the central government or the state government, we are all integral parts of the Indian state. With पार्टियां बनेंगी, बिगड़ेंगी, मगर ये देश रहना चाहिए. और फॉरवर्ड प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी told. His words serve as a timeless reminder that defeated rulers were often treated with dignity and respect. In many instances, their kingdoms were even restored to them. In India, historically, political rivalry was rarely seen as a matter of life and death. Instead, it was largely governed by ethics, mutual respect, and a deep-rooted sense of justice. Friends, whenever I speak about the investors like you, I always focus on the value proposition for the prospective investors. If I urge you to invest your capital or the capital entrusted to you by those who trust your judgment, I must provide a clear and compelling reason. So I see my role here as that of an advocate standing before a distinguished jury of investors. My purpose today is to make a strong and persuasive case for Karnataka state. Friends, Karnataka offers everything you seek in an investment destination. No matter what your investment requirements are, Karnataka provides a good foundation for growth and success. Friends, it is an investor. You seek world-class infrastructure. Karnataka is now offering next-generation infrastructure facilities. If you require skilled human resources, Karnataka stands out with its highly talented and future-ready workforce. Friends, in India, we have actively worked to address the challenges that investors previously faced. The cumbersome process of obtaining multiple clearances has been replaced by a single window system, ensuring a faster and hassle-free experience. Beyond the streamlined processes, investors also need a strong market demand for their products. When it comes to consumption, India is already one of the world's fastest growing markets. Several recent economic decisions are expected to further strengthen the demand environment. On one hand, the Reserve Bank of India has reduced the repo rate from 6.5% to 6.25%, making borrowing more affordable. On the other hand, under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, the Government of India has introduced a massive income tax cut in this year's budget announcement, and now individuals earning up to rupees 20 lakh annually are completely exempt from income tax. This significant tax relief will substantially increase the disposable income of our people. And as we all know, higher demand leads to a stronger business growth for the investor firms. Friends, for any investor, the biggest concern before making an investment is uncertainty. Whenever I have interacted with leaders of large industries or entrepreneurs from the MSME sector, one common challenge they highlight is the uncertainty. Investors worry that they might invest in a promising sector today, only to face unexpected policy changes later, which could disrupt their plans and profits. This issue of uncertainty is not just limited to India. It is a global challenge that affects investment decisions everywhere. When I speak about the policy uncertainty, I want to emphasize a crucial point. Today, across all levels of governance in India, including the central government, state governments, and the local body, there is a broad consensus that sustainable economic development must be driven by a market-led economy, with the private sector playing a leadership role. This shared commitment provides a stable and predictable policy environment, ensuring that businesses can invest with confidence of policy continuity. When our Honorable Prime Minister was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he pioneered the tradition of hosting investor summits. Today, this tradition has been embraced by almost every state in India, which is a positive development of our economy. In the past, investors faced numerous challenges, and one of the biggest hurdles was red tape. However, times have changed. Today, India no longer presents red tape to investors. Instead, we roll out the red carpet for them. This kind of cross-political party consensus on promoting investment plays a crucial role in reducing uncertainty for our investors. Friends, as I invite all of you to invest in Karnataka, one of the most compelling elements of my value proposition is Bengaluru. As India's technological capital, Bengaluru not only creates the future of India, but also shapes it, driving innovation and progress at national and global scale. Being home to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and a thriving aerospace industry, Bengaluru plays a pivotal role in India's ascent to the skies. Friends, we have moved beyond the era of IT and software and stepped into the age of artificial intelligence. It is Bengaluru which laid the foundation of India's software industry. I have immense faith in the talent and the innovation of Bengaluru's youth. Just as this city gave India its software technology foundation, I am confident that in the near future, Bengaluru will give India its first foundational artificial intelligence model. Once Mahatma Gandhi gave us a talisman, a guiding principle for decision making. He urged us to consider the interests of the most marginalized person before making any decision. In a similar spirit, I want to offer you a talisman of my own. Whenever you have doubts about India's future or India's potential, just do one thing: come to Bengaluru. Visit this city and witness its thriving IT industry, its dynamic startup ecosystem, and its young, innovative entrepreneurs and technologists. When you see firsthand the energy, ambition, and the groundbreaking work happening here, all your doubts about India's future will fade away. Your uncertainties will disappear, and your confidence in India's limitless potential will grow stronger than ever. Friends, beyond all these factors, there is an even bigger advantage. When you invest in Karnataka, you are not just gaining access to Karnataka's resources. You have the strength of the entire nation standing with Karnataka. India's economic ecosystem is deeply integrated, which means investing here gets you access to the country's vast and diverse resources. If your business requires minerals, you can source them from Chhattisgarh and Odisha. If you need skilled manpower, the hard-working professionals from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar will be ready to contribute. If your supply chain depends on MSMEs output, you will find robust support from Noida and Coimbator's MSME entities. When you invest in Karnataka, you are not just investing in one state, you are tapping into the collective strength of India's vast resources and a colossal talent pool. Today, India is in the era of the cooperative federalism, where we'll work with the true spirit of Team India. A remarkable example of this is the GST framework, in which representatives from both the central and state governments come together to collectively decide tax rates through consensus. This is the testament to how the central and state governments are collaborating to save the country's economy. Friends, I believe that one of the biggest reasons behind the growing culture of cooperative federalism in India today is the leadership experience of our Honorable Prime Minister, who himself served as the Chief Minister of Gujarat for many years. I too have had the honor of serving as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. His first-hand experience of governance at the state level has given us a deep understanding of the importance of cooperation between the center and states. And today, India's cooperative federalism is stronger than ever before. Friends, I firmly believe that for all of you, this is the moment and the perfect time to invest. The opportunity before you is unprecedented. Now is the time to grab it. By investing today, you are not only unlocking new avenues for your own success, but also contributing to the economic growth of Karnataka and the nation as a whole. You are all seasoned investors, and in your language, terms like going short and going long hold great significance. When you anticipate that the value of an asset is going to decline, you choose to go short. Conversely, when you see strong potential for growth and believe that an asset's value will rise, you go long. And if you look at the recent past, one thing is clear. Those who went short on India and its people's future saw their success and fame fade away just as quickly. On the other hand, those who went long on India and its immense potential have witnessed sustained success, lasting impact, and enduring growth. That is why today I urge all of you to think for the long term, invest with confidence, and make the right choice, and all of you should go long on India. I once again extend a warm invitation to all of you to invest in Karnataka. The role that investors, business leaders, and industry captains like you have played in driving India's growth is truly remarkable. Your contributions have been instrumental in shaping the nation's economic progress. A lot more needs to be done towards the national objective of becoming Viksit Bharat by 2047. Together, we will get the job done. Thank you very much. So nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, reassuring indeed to hear the country's defense minister to share with the investor community the compelling reason that investing into Karnataka